Have you ever taken a shower, put on clean clothes, and still felt like you smelled a little off by the end of the day? In Japan, some everyday hygiene habits are designed specifically to prevent that something smells different feeling. So today, let's look at 5 Japanese hygiene rules Americans often break and how they can contribute to body odor. 1. Showering before getting into the bath. Imagine spending the day sweating, walking around outside, sitting on public transportation, and then getting into a bathtub without washing first. In Japan, that would be considered unusual. Japanese bathing culture traditionally separates washing your body from soaking in the bath. You wash and rinse yourself first. Only after you're clean do you get into the bathtub to relax. And there's a practical reason for this. A bath in Japan is often treated as a place for relaxation rather than getting clean. Soaking in clean water after washing means you're not sitting in a mixture of sweat, oil, dirt, and bacteria. This also matters for body odor. Sweat itself isn't always what makes you smell. The odor often develops when bacteria interact with sweat, oils, and other substances on your skin. So if you're simply jumping into a bath without properly washing first, you may not be removing everything that contributes to odor. The Japanese approach is simple. Wash first, relax second. And honestly, that tiny change can make your bathing routine feel much cleaner. 2. Washing your feet, especially between the toes. Here's one that sounds obvious, until you realize how easy it is to forget. Your feet spend most of the day trapped inside socks and shoes. They're warm, they're often sweaty, and they're not getting much airflow. That makes your feet one of the easiest places for odor to develop. In Japanese hygiene culture, washing the feet carefully is an important part of bathing. And that doesn't mean letting shampoo and soap water run over them and calling it a day. Actually scrub them, between the toes, around the soles, and especially anywhere that stays damp. Think about it. If you wash your face carefully, clean your hands several times a day, and shower your body, but barely wash your feet, you're leaving one of the most odor-prone areas almost untouched. And there's another important step: dry them properly. Moisture trapped between your toes creates an environment where microorganisms can thrive. So after showering, don't immediately put on socks while your feet are still wet. Take a few extra seconds and dry between your toes. It sounds ridiculously simple, but sometimes the best hygiene habits are the boring ones we actually remember to do. 3. Wearing the same clothes after sweating. Now, let's talk about something many people do without even thinking about it. You come home from work or the gym. Your shirt is a little sweaty. You think, I'll wear it again tomorrow. It's not that bad. But that shirt has already collected sweat, skin oils, bacteria, and environmental odors. And here's the problem. You might be clean, but your clothes aren't. Japanese everyday life often places a strong emphasis on changing clothes after sweating and keeping clothes fresh. This becomes especially important during hot and humid weather. Think about what happens when you put a slightly sweaty shirt back on. Your body warms it up again. The fabric becomes damp again. And suddenly, yesterday's odor gets a second chance. This is especially noticeable with synthetic fabrics, which can sometimes hold on to body odor even after a quick wash. So if you regularly notice that your deodorant works in the morning, but seems useless by the afternoon, take a look at your clothes too. Sometimes the problem isn't your body, it's the shirt. 4. Taking your shoes off before entering the home. In Japan, taking off your shoes before entering the home is much more than a cultural tradition. It's a hygiene habit. Your shoes travel everywhere: sidewalks, public bathrooms, parking lots, public transportation, wet streets, and who knows what else. Now imagine walking through all of that and then bringing the same shoes directly onto your bedroom floor. There's another issue. Odor. Shoes create a warm, enclosed environment around your feet for hours. Sweat gets absorbed by socks and the inside of the shoes. Then the shoes sit there, sometimes without enough time to dry completely. Over time, that trapped moisture and bacteria can create a surprisingly strong smell. This is one reason Japanese homes typically have a clear separation between outdoor shoes and indoor spaces, and you don't need to completely redesign your home to use the idea. Create a simple shoe area near the entrance. Let shoes dry properly. Rotate them instead of wearing the same pair every single day. And keep indoor slippers or clean footwear for inside, because sometimes the smell you're trying to remove from your feet is actually coming from your shoes. 5. Paying attention to your mouth, not just your teeth. Here's the hygiene habit people often overlook. You brush your teeth twice a day. Great. But what about your tongue? Your mouth contains countless microorganisms, and odor can come from areas other than your teeth. The tongue, especially, can collect a coating made up of bacteria, food particles, and dead cells. That's one reason tongue cleaning is included in many oral hygiene routines. In Japan, tongue cleaning and attention to fresh breath are relatively common parts of personal hygiene. And there's a simple reason. Fresh breath is part of smelling clean. You could have perfectly clean clothes, freshly washed hair, and a shower-fresh body. But if your breath smells unpleasant, people will notice it immediately. So along with brushing and flossing, gently cleaning your tongue can be a useful addition to your routine. Just don't scrub aggressively. A gentle approach is enough. And don't forget something even simpler. Drink enough water. A dry mouth can make bad breath more noticeable, so staying hydrated throughout the day can help too. So, what can we learn from Japanese hygiene culture? The interesting thing isn't that Japanese people have some magical secret to smelling good. They don't. The difference is often in the small routines. Wash before soaking. Clean your feet properly. Change sweaty clothes. Keep outdoor shoes outside. And don't ignore your mouth. None of these habits requires expensive products. You don't need 10 different fragrances. And you don't need to constantly reapply deodorant. Sometimes preventing odor starts much earlier, with keeping sweat, moisture, bacteria, and dirty fabrics under control. So the next time you shower, take an extra minute. Wash those feet. Dry properly. Put on a fresh shirt, and maybe give your shoes a little attention too. Because smelling fresh isn't always about covering odor. It's about preventing it in the first place. And that may be one of the most useful lessons we can borrow from Japanese everyday life.